Yeah, so I work at Heartland Counseling Services. I've worked there for 12 years. And each year our agency nominates somebody to go through leadership. And I was the nominated person this year, which was good. I did live in the community, but I haven't for the past 5 years. And so it helped bring me back out into the community and just be aware of more of what's going on.
I wanted to get out of my comfort zone a little bit, and that definitely helped going to the city meetings and things like that.
Yeah, so I applied for Leadership Dakota County because I'm newer to South Sioux City, and I really wanted to learn more about the community. I wanted to build relationships with more business partners, but I really just wanted to grow as a leader as well, and this definitely helped me accomplish all of those things and more.
At the high school, we're starting the career academies, and so I thought it'd be a great way to make some connections around the community in the Siouxland area, so I can help promote the academies throughout the high school and make those connections for our students.
Well, I really wanted to get more involved with the community, and we kind of laugh about it, but Cicely told me I should do it and taped the form to my computer. Told me, fill this out and turn it in. So I did, and it's been really fun.
Wanted to get more involved, wanted to learn more about the community. I had to change careers last year, so now I can get more involved with things.
Funny enough, through Rogelio, who I used to see at the coffee hour, he was still running for commissioner then. He told me about the opportunity. Also through time, me and Rogelio connected, and I also told him about my intentions. Me not being from the Siouxland area, I just wanted to start making an impact. I wanted to start being more integrated in my community. There are so many aspects I wasn't aware of, you know. For example, it might seem kind of dumb, but the government, I never had the chance to vote, although I do pay my taxes. And basically, I was able to see how the government works at a micro level, the impact it has on a macro level. And yeah.
And this position that I took at the College Center was the first time that I've actually worked in South Sioux, and in sort of a kind of a leadership position here. It was presented by my boss actually that it might be a good idea, and turned out to be great.
Well, for one, Rogelio was very adamant that I should join, and then I had taught a lesson for last year's class, and that's what got me interested in like wanting to be a part of the program. Just first being an instructor in it, and then like actually being one of the students. I've already joined several boards and committees since I started Leadership Dakota County, so I feel like it's taken me in the direction I was hoping it would.
Yeah, definitely. I've learned a lot about a lot of different aspects of the community, and I've really liked how it's been kind of, each session has been divided up and had certain topics, and we've got to meet a lot of different people. I know you were at this one, but I really liked the education one. I think the one where we were at Unity in Action and just learning about how the people in those programs are learning to take their citizenship tests, and like how difficult those tests really are, and it was interesting to kind of go through a lot of those questions that they have to learn and stuff like that.
One of the biggest eye-opening things for me was just realizing how many moving parts there is to make our community thrive. So whether it's business partners or nonprofit organizations and just our community as a whole, everybody is connected in some way, shape, or form, and it was really cool to see that intertwine all together throughout our class.
I was starting to reflect on how I wanted to do my PowerPoint presentation for the final project, and it kind of just all came together. I was wanting to structure my project around a little bit from each one of the sessions that we were in, and it, I don't know, it was just like, oh, that's why we did that.
Getting a chance to meet other leaders of Dakota County that live and work in the community, also being in a position to help out in the community was really big, like volunteering. I thought that was a cool aha moment, like, oh, sweet, I can help out. So really big into helping others.
Just, I guess, how much there is to do, how much there is to get involved in if you know about it.
I think the biggest thing for me is it's been a little surprising how accessible all the leadership in the area is. you know, in Sioux City, it can be near impossible to talk to some of the leaders of the city, and yet this area is a lot more accessible.
Oh, there have been a lot. I would say each session there was something. I was very impressed with, we had a government session where we met with some of your councilmen and things like that, and I was very impressed with the initiatives that they had and learning more about how things ran in South Sioux. It honestly had always been, I live in Vermilion, and I'd always kind of thought of this as just a piece of Sioux City, but in the legislative meetings, I found it interesting that it's its own little city, and that was a big aha moment for me, that there's a lot going on over here that has nothing to do with the Iowa side.
It was in between two sessions. They kind of have a lot to do with each other. It's the one that I taught, which is the citizenship identity one, and then the one right after, which is the civic engagement. And it's just how little people actually know about the civic process in general, whether it's the history of the U.S. and the process of like how the government is run and how we elect officials.
And so I was really wanting to just learn more about Haven House here, so I reached out to them, and my volunteer work wasn't necessarily direct to their clients, but I helped with their annual fundraiser of stuffing envelopes and just helping to get out that so they could collect funds to continue to operate. And then I also volunteered for Robin Lieber for Sweet Like Honey. She had me put together a bunch of little like treat bags for teachers for the tri-state area. She takes bags, and I thought that was good. I spend time with people all day, every day, so I kind of chose a non-direct way to volunteer. But I thought it was really nice to see Haven House's new facility. I hadn't seen their new location and see everything in there.
So I volunteered twice at the Sioux City Soup Kitchen, one for prep work and then one for serving, and that was really cool. And then I also helped Sweet Like Honey.
So I've connected with the organization Sweet Like Honey. So they collect flower arrangements and vases and bring them to like nursing homes and stuff. So we've started collecting vases at the College Center for that organization. Haven House had an event that I volunteered for a couple hours at that because it was at our College Center. And then I've been volunteering at the Siouxland Freedom Park at the Interpretive Center there. My dad was one of the original fundraisers for that area, so I've been volunteering on Saturdays to help them out.
So I did 2 volunteer opportunities. One of them was Sweet Like Honey, and it's a volunteer opportunity that Robin has put on, and her big goal and motivation is to make people smile and make people's days. So with that project, I worked on creating some teacher recognition treats to pass out to these teachers during student-teacher conferences, and created baskets, and I even got my mom involved in it too. Another thing I did was I helped with the teammates trivia night, planning and preparing for the way the layout and scoring was going to go for the trivia, helping the questions get developed, creating the scorecard, creating rules, and just the logistics and organization behind that.
My main volunteer opportunity that I did was with the Soup Kitchen. I have volunteered there 4 different times since we started Leadership, and that holds a really special place in my heart. The feeling that you get after you've worked your shift and seeing all the people that you're helping. But the Soup Kitchen was one of my favorite places to volunteer. My second volunteer opportunity that I had was volunteering at the Heartland Counseling Life Center. Being a board member at Heartland is one piece, so I have a lot of personal feelings toward Heartland and this just gave me another respect for everything that they do, especially getting to know some of the people that take advantage of the Life Center and the services that they offer.
I volunteered for Voices for Food, the food pantry in Dakota County. Worked with the extension gals there at the fire hall. I also assisted out at the South Sioux City Community Orchard and helped out there doing some networking with the forester, as well as learning and kind of putting some of my own expertise and knowledge with some of the people there that were volunteering. And then I also just recently helped out at the Siouxland Soup Kitchen and was working with a handful of staff there doing some meals and whatnot for the people in need. And yeah, that was very, I think two of those experiences were very empathetic, you know, having the empathy and kind of seeing what people are going through. I mean, growing up, my life, you know, wasn't always that easy. And when I was younger, we went to the food pantry as a kid. And so kind of being on the back spectrum of that and helping people in need for that, I think that's why I chose Voices for Food and Siouxland Soup Kitchen, were being part of that.
Yeah. I volunteer for Unity in Action. It's a place here in South Sioux that helps immigrants get their papers. They were making packets for their clients. I also volunteered at the soup kitchen, and I volunteered back in college, the soup kitchen, but back then it was to meet my volunteering hours. This time it was with more intention, and hence I was able to get more out of it.
Yeah, it's been great. I helped Robin with Sweet Like Honey, that's her nonprofit, and I did that more rather than hands-on volunteering with the stuff that she does, which I think she has plenty of volunteers for that. I actually worked kind of as a business consultant side to try to help her find a way to move the majority of her work out of her living room and hopefully into a dedicated space, and then make it more sustainable type of a project for her. So that was the first volunteering that I did, and then the second one was on the bond referendum that's coming up for South Sioux City. So I'm the communications chairman for that.
Molly Cruz and I were kind of chatting because we wanted to I work for Security National. We wanted to get into the school systems a little more to help with personal finance before they go off to college. So we've been talking and working together to find a way that we can present or teach a class or something along those lines.
One of the biggest things or connections I've made with Leadership Dakota County was just learning about more industry professionals. Even with our work at South Sioux City High School, I'm an academy coach there, and we're starting the development of our upper academies, but being able to collaborate with these local business partners and just see how they are leaders in their own organizations, it was really neat to just get a broader perspective on things that are happening outside of the school.
My biggest connection, I think, is with Robin Lieber. Like I said, that Sweet Like Honey and her nonprofit is all new to me, and so learning what she does, for those that don't know, she takes unused flowers from like funerals or weddings, breaks them up, and then passes them out around town and around the community to sort of spread joy and happiness. And so somebody just to take their time and their effort and energy to like spread just a little bit of joy and make somebody's day, and that's her whole goal. It's just such a nice, inspiring way to get involved and to make people smile. So I thought she was really inspiring.
I made a lot of connections. I mean, all my classmates that I had, and even a handful of the extension gals in Dakota City, I've made a lot of connections, and I could probably walk out of it saying I've made a couple friends as well along the way.
Women over at the extension office. I'm now on the board for the Dakota County Nebraska Extension Office.
Wow, I made several connections. Kendon was a connection I made. He's a very nice guy. Just like me, he's not from the area, although I'm from way further, but we're able to connect on that. We're also able to connect on his career, what he wants to do with his future, how he got here, just like how I got here too. So, cool guy.
That's great. That's awesome.
I think, actually there's been quite a few, but probably the one that's going to make the most impact on my position is just getting to know Dr. Ortega, the superintendent of South Sioux City Schools, kind of on a personal level rather than a really distant, business level. So I think that's been a great connection for us.
Probably the one thing that I've noticed is now going to chamber coffees and things, I recognize people, where before I didn't have those connections, and getting to know some people in the school district. There were quite a few educators that were in our program and other people in the community, and recognizing them and knowing who they are. And even when we went to the police department, getting to know them, and I've seen them working, but I never knew a name or connection with them at all. So kind of that connection of the people themselves.
Prince, he's a character. He's one of the great, he's a great guy. He's really fun. He always tries to have a dad joke ready for me. He's also helped us out a lot with volunteering, like we did group volunteering, him and I, at our office. So that's a great connection. The girls from the school, they helped us get in and also present for the students, get some more leadership students involved. So I made some pretty good connections.
Couple of meetings there was some animosity, I guess, between members. So that was kind of a little eye-opening, and when they're talking about certain things. But honestly, one of the biggest ones for me was the lack of diversity on, all three of those that I went to, the people that are serving on those boards. There's just very little diversity, and that really surprised me.
Yeah, so I was really surprised by how much actually happens behind the scenes in our community. There's so much planning and preparation and discussion that goes on well early on before actually making a decision. So it gave me, I'd say, a new appreciation for local leaders and all the work that they do to keep things running smoothly.
And I was actually taken back quite a bit on their dynamic between the members of that commissioners, and there's just a lot of tension in that room. I could tell, even watching remotely. I also watched Sioux City School Board meeting virtually, and I didn't have too many takeaways from that. It was okay. And then I attended in person the the City of Hinton meeting that they had, City Council meeting. And that was great because that's my hometown. And so I knew a lot of the people that were in there, but I really got to have an active part of the small city government.
I've been to several school board meetings before, so the community, the county meeting and then the city meeting, those were a little bit new to me, but honestly just the amount of varying tasks that all those types of meetings have to complete. It's not, there's not just one major agenda item, there's several things they have to get through, and sort of the thought and the collaboration and the mindfulness that they have to go through when attending those meetings and listening and making sure that they're making the right choices for our community. It's a big deal, and again, it helps you stay informed and gets you more information about what's been going on.
So I have attended city council meetings here in South Sioux for my job here at the library a few times, and I actually ended up watching one from Sioux City, and I was surprised at how uncivil it was compared to ours. Like, ours have always felt so welcoming and nice, and I know the mayor's always joined in and thank you for coming. When I listened to the one from Sioux City, there was a lot of hostility from the mayor and the people talking, and I was I'm so glad our community has a friendlier city council. That was my takeaway, was how thankful I am that our small community is so friendly and willing to support each other and not kind of fight about what they're doing.
Those leaders, whether they're commissioners or board members, they really care about their residents and they focus on what's best for the community. So I really enjoyed seeing how they interact with the community and what they decide and how they decide it.
That Dakota County meeting, and especially for the county meeting, I was expecting more. I don't know, I was expecting more people in attendance. I was expecting more dialogue with the audience, but it was more whoever the elected officials in place have to talk it out between each other and come to a solution. So that was definitely the surprising part for me.
I think the surprising part there too is just kind of how accessible that stuff is. They really do seem like they're willing and wanting people to come and comment, and they want to hear what people think, and you definitely have a clear opportunity to go be heard at those meetings.
The biggest surprise to me was how few people were there at any of them. And there were some pretty major things discussed at the city council meeting. And then I went to a school board meeting, or excuse me, I watched the school board meeting live, and I was really surprised how few people were there. And I don't know if it's because people do live stream it now, if it's easier, but there wasn't a lot of questions that were submitted or anything like that, and they do send out the agenda ahead of time. So I was just shocked at the low attendance.
Trying to build my network, first of all. But the information that I'm taking, I'm using it to try and better help the community, whether it's just being with my job that I'm already involved with the community, or going a step farther and trying to pursue maybe like a job in politics, or like being like county commissioner, city council, or even the mayor of South Sioux. Just keep going, and I learned that, and then just go back to my daily routine.
Yeah, for one, I tell them it's an amazing network opportunity. I've gained a big understanding of some of the businesses in our area, but I also got to learn alongside of some incredibly strong leaders, and that just helps me with my position overall. But the relationships formed in Leadership Dakota County will have a lasting impact on my career and the community involvement I have.
They just know that I leave for an afternoon, and I think they're a little jealous about getting to go up in the flight. So I've talked about that. I've shared different things about visiting the jail. Those are not common things that people in our community, well, most of the people in our community don't get to experience, especially visiting the jail from that perspective versus someone that would be visiting for unfortunate circumstances. Right. But I've told them about it. I think there has been some interest, and they've had some back and forth with me on maybe it would be something they would be interested in doing.
I tell them that it's been a great opportunity to like sort of enhance my leadership skills, but also to meet other people and sort of what their roles are within the community, not just the members of Leadership Dakota County, but those that have come in and introduced themselves and what they do for our community. So it's really helped me get more involved and become more knowledgeable in what's been going on.
You learn a lot, and you get to see a lot of the inner parts of our community that you may not think about.
That's another stage of networking and getting to know people, and just more people you get to know, it's beneficial for my career. So it's been good so far.
No, it's definitely an opportunity for me to be more closer to the community, especially for me who does sales. I want to know who I'm selling to, and I also want who I'm selling to know me, to establish that relationship. It's what basically I'm here in Leadership Dakota County.
I recommend it to all of them. I think it's been a great experience for me, and just a great way to get to know kind of like I said, the leadership of the area. So
I tell them that it was a chance to meet a lot of people in the community, inside the group as well as the places that we visited, and I tell them that there were a lot of things about South Sioux that I didn't know that now I feel like I will take advantage of.
I think just making those connections, just so we can make connections. Everybody has their purpose. We get up, we go to work, we do our thing. Some of our jobs have us interacting with people, some of them don't, and this is just a way to really encourage that interaction and find out what are our local resources, how can we help each other.
I think that it's great. Like I said, it really brought me out of my comfort zone, and I feel like it made me feel closer to home and more connected, knowing about all the different things that go into, creating a law, or even hearing about Unity in Action, door knocking to raise awareness and get people to vote and things like that. So
it really does bring up and coming leaders and business owners and employees together and understanding how a community fully functions, because leadership took a little bit of all these different things, some of which I had no understanding of, and I feel like I'm a much more well-rounded individual because of it.
I think it's a good thing to help people that are wanting to be part of the community, but not sure how to start like making those connections, you kind of are forced to. Like everyone else in that room is part of your community and what you're doing. So I think that's really cool that you end up knowing different people and you meet people like with the different hosting organizations and stuff.
Oh, you should never stop. And the reason why is because the caliber of people who are in Leadership County should know each other. And I think that's how you make a change. When you take individuals who want to make a change but feel alone, just like I was before the Leadership County, and I was able to connect with other people that want to make a change. And I think that's what Leadership Dakota County should just go on. Yeah.
Actually, that's one thing maybe that surprised me a little bit too is the continuity with people that had done it in the past. Kind of a little tiny fraternity sort of leaders in the area.
I think that it brings the community together in a way that normally we don't interact with each other. I met people from all different industries that I normally wouldn't have encountered, and it gives you a little bit more buy-in on South Sioux. I feel a little more connected to South Sioux. Before it was just a place of employment, and like I said, I thought of it as an offshoot of Sioux City, where now I have a greater pride in the South Sioux area and telling people that I work here and explaining what things we offer here as a community. So I feel like it's a great way to promote the city.
Just being aware of, like I said, unity in action, that's going to be a huge resource. Just being aware, like last week we talked about the safety protocols in our schools and all the things that are in place. I do want to go back and look at some of those things. I'm waiting for that PowerPoint, just, helping students, helping staff that work with students. I think that is key.
I think just, especially working in education, I interact with a lot of different people, so I feel like I'm more aware of resources that are available for different groups of people.
As I continue my work with the academies of South Sioux City High School to better serve our students in our district and our community as a whole, I just think I've really leveraged my industry knowledge, and I've been able to expand and build business partnerships throughout that. But these connections will eventually help me bridge the gap between education and workforce development.
My long-term pipe dream plan at the moment is to maybe start a student Leadership Dakota County, or at least get some of the students involved in Leadership Dakota County to have them more involved in the community. I know one of our big pushes is to have students come back to live in the community and not everybody move outside. And so I think, again, the more they know about it, the more knowledgeable they are, more likely they'll want to stay here and raise their families.
I'll probably use them when I'm seeking guidance. Now that I have a few more connections, I can seek out to people when I'm looking for personal or work development growth. I also can give back to the community in new ways, kind of like volunteering, or maybe even becoming more involved in the community. I think a lot of the volunteering has been very eye-opening, and being able to, especially getting just to know where I can volunteer is nice. So being able to give back to the community is important, I think.
Well, I think that's one of the big projects that we're doing at the College Center right now is Wayne State's trying to build just a bigger footprint in the area. And that's the steps we're taking right now, is just connecting with all the leaders in the area, business and community leaders, and trying to figure out what we can do and what we can bring to the College Center that will benefit, the area, Dakota County and South Sioux City and even Sioux City. So getting connected with all these people is just really a very logical next step for my position.
I think it has encouraged me to continue to do some volunteer work in this area. Like I said, I feel more of a connection here now. Now I feel like the connections that I've made will make it easier to join things and to do things and be more involved in this particular community, because I spend 60 hours a week here at minimum. So it's nice to have that connection with the town.